I'm shirking my job. You're fine. But I'm not doing it anymore.
I say, we as Americans strongly oppose your bill. We, as an American senator, you are sworn to uphold the Constitution. You're not doomed by sponsoring this bill. We implore you to say, I was wrong supporting this bill, and I implore President Obama to veto it immediately, and I will never again support an unjustified war like the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, and support a bill that destroys the core of American civil liberties like this bill does.
Tell me what democracy looks like. Tell me what the people look like.
This is what the people look like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
Mic check!
Mic check!
He is the current president
He's the current president
of the Arizona ACLU.
of the Arizona ACLU.
Woo!
Here's Roberto Ravelis.
And you know, Sheila doesn't really have to beg. All she has to tell you, you will show up. And one does.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the most critical issues that I've seen in my life. I'm 79 years old. I'm a native Arizonan. I've never seen times more critical than this for the civil liberties of everybody. I'm used to being seen on the streets advocating on behalf of undocumented immigrants. But today, everybody's civil rights are at stake. The legislation that was passed along to the White House and that President Obama had previously said he would veto is going to be signed by President Obama. Despite the fact that it has a provision that specifically authorizes the indefinite detention of any person, including United States citizens, anywhere in the world, on the suspicion, if you will, that they are somehow connected to an act of terrorism.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what the people look like.
This is what the people look like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Human rights are under attack. What do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When civil rights are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When human rights are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When civil rights are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
One more time. Say it again.
Shame on the king.
Yeah!
Anyone else? Pass the mic.
Emails for the
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, just tell us what you think.
Okay.
Press this.
Sure. Okay. Hello.
I don't know if you guys have heard what's happening in Syria.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, the regime is killing people innocently that are just asking for their freedom. I felt that I was born and raised here in the U.S., and I feel very fortunate that I can say how I feel. And unfortunately, just like with that the SB 1867, they want to do the same thing here in the U.S. It's happening overseas. And so we should all say no to that, and we should all speak our mind and, for our freedom of speech. That's right. So.
Thank you.
I'll give it to you. Do you want me to give it now?
No. Yeah.
Sure, no.
There you go. You're fine.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't speak
McCain was a POW. He apparently wants more Americans to go through that in America. Who thinks this is wrong? Hi, architects and engineers for 911Truth. I know that you may have varied opinions or views or understanding about that, but it is an organization of 1,600 architects and engineers, including physicists, scientists, chemists, researchers, explosion experts. There are actually thousands and thousands of experts who have researched 911Truth, and an international team of 8 scientists have discovered nanothermite in the dust of 9/11. This is published and peer-reviewed. So there's a great deal scientifically to research about this, and there's a great body of evidence that these experts are standing by. I don't know if you realize it, but several years ago, Jane Harmon tried to pass, she sponsored a bill, I think it was called the Homeland Security Terrorism Act. You can look it up, and an organization called the Simon Wiesenthal Center had a presenter named Mark Weitzman, who gave a presentation about American terrorists, which is what we are talking about today. People who have, presumably, people who are aligning themselves with terrorists who are also Americans. And he gave a big presentation of pictures of people and organizations and so on and so forth that were considered to be terrorists. And in the middle of that presentation, he inserted the distinguished body of experts called architects and engineers for 9/11Truth. It's an abomination that anyone would classify or characterize them that way. So this legislation, 1867, is a threat to anyone who opposes the power structure or the official story that is putting forth. So it's very important for every American, and it's certainly important for 9/11Truth. Thank you so much. Peace. Thank you, love.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thanks, Pam. I'd like to mention 2 things briefly. A number of us have been allies, have been Anglo-white allies for SB 1070, for all the undocumented people who are being threatened with deportation and torture for the last few years. But now it's us. It's all of us. It's those of us who are Anglo-Caucasian white who are under threat with this bill. And I'm hoping, for me and for others too, it's occurred to me clearly that this will perhaps increase my understanding, increase my empathy, increase my compassion to the awfulness that undocumented people have been living with for a long time, that now we are under this same real threat, so that we can really give that some serious thought and continue helping, continue whatever we can for to get SB 1070 repealed, as we take care of ourselves. And actually, we also request reciprocal assistance from undocumented people. When I'm with people at Solus America, I don't know who's documented or undocumented. It doesn't matter. I never know. So it's a human issue. It's a human civil rights issue.